I don't understand.
Resident Evil Afterlife is the fourth movie in the live-action Resident Evil movie franchise, and by my count, the second one to be a complete atrocity. I've seen this movie about 3 or 4 times now and have developed a strange perspective on it. On one hand, it's a terrible movie, and on another, it's a terrible Resident Evil movie. Summarizing the plot of this movie shouldn't be hard, considering that the movie barely has one. The movie starts out in an underground Umbrella facility located in Japan. Seeing as how the entire planet has been overrun by zombies, the remnants of Umbrella have retreated to bunkers. Soldiers are being picked off from the outside, which is an all-out attack on the Umbrella facility by Alice and her clones. They're coming for Umbrella and Albert Wesker, who also resides in the facility. Wesker leaves the facility by plane and activates a bomb, which kills everyone inside, including Alice's clones. The original Alice snuck onto Wesker's plane and nearly killed him, but he injected her with something before she could. It was a serum that eats away at the T-virus in her body, thus returning her back to a normal human state, so the superpowered Alice from the second and third movies is gone. Before Wesker can kill Alice, the plane crashes into a mountain because he left it unattended. Alice walks off, nearly unscathed. The movie then jumps forward in time by about 6 months. Alice is now looking for Arcadia, an alleged safe haven that the survivors from Extinction went to at the end of the last film. It's located in Alaska. Alice arrives at the location to see that there's already an entire field of planes there. She finds a beach, but no one there, until she catches someone running. After following them, she is attacked, and the person attacking her is Claire Redfield, but being controlled by some Umbrella apparatus. In the night, Claire comes to and realizes that she remembers nothing. Alice takes Claire with her to search for more survivors. They reach Los Angeles and find survivors hiding inside of a prison that is surrounded by zombies. There's Luther, Bennett, Kim Yong, Wendell, and Crystal. They think that Alice has been sent there to help them from Arcadia, which doesn't make much sense to her because Arcadia is supposed to be in Alaska. As it turns out, Arcadia is a ship, and that's why it wasn't in Alaska when she went to go look for it. Later, Alice mentions that they have to get to the ship. Crystal mentions that there may be a way. At the bottom of the prison, the group is keeping someone contained, a prisoner by the name of Chris. He tells Alice that they locked him down there and that he's not actually a threat. He also says that he knows a way out of the prison past all the zombies. Wendell complains about hearing noises in the walls. After Alice leaves Chris, Luther says that Chris won't tell them the way out of the prison until they let him out. After this, we're shown a zombie burrowing his way into the ground. We're also shown a large man wielding a gigantic axe heading towards the prison. In the prison, Alice tries to take a shower, but notices Wendell trying to watch. They're attacked by zombies that came from the ground, and Wendell is killed. The group agrees that they must get out of the prison, so they let Chris go. After he leaves his cell, he sees Claire and is very surprised. It turns out that Chris is her brother, but since she has amnesia, she doesn't remember him. Once outside, Chris tells them about a fortified vehicle that was kept in case of a large riot. He also mentions a large armory in a lower level of the prison. Suddenly, they hear a large noise coming from the gate, and it's the executioner trying to bash the gate in. Chris, Crystal, and Alice go to the armory, while Angel, Bennett, and Kim Yong stay to open the door for the vehicle. The first group makes it to the armory, but is swarmed by zombies. Crystal is killed by one of them. The second group opens the door and finds the prison vehicle, except it doesn't have an engine, so Bennett kills Angel. The executioner topples the prison door over, while Chris and Alice escape the armory. Bennett escapes the prison using Alice's plane, and the survivors are left on the top of the prison that has now become infested with zombies. They come up with a plan to escape via the burrows that the zombies left in the shower room. Alice reaches the bottom of the prison using a large cable. While at the shower room, everyone has gone down the hole but Kim Yong. Suddenly, he is sliced in half by the executioner, who has made his way into the building. 15,000 slow motion shots later, Alice and Claire kill him. The group makes it down to the sewers, except for Luther, who is attacked by a zombie. Alice, Chris, and Claire find a boat and ride it to Arcadia. They find Alice's crashed plane, which means that Bennett made it too. Once inside, they find out that it's an umbrella facility, nothing but a trap to lure survivors in. Alice keeps searching the place until she finds none other than Albert Wesker at the center. She tries to shoot him, but Bennett stops her. Wesker explains that the T-virus brought him back, but it is now consuming him. He must have fresh human DNA. But even that isn't entirely working, so he must consume Alice, who is the only person to have successfully bonded with the T-virus. Chris and Claire show up. They try to fight him, but Wesker is far too powerful and traps them in pods. Cerberus try to attack Alice, but she kills them and then stabs Wesker in the head. That doesn't stop him, so Alice has to blow his brains out. She frees Chris and Claire, but Wesker tries to get up again. They shoot him multiple times, and after they're done, they leave Bennett in the room. Wesker eats him and tries to escape Arcadia using a plane, and triggers a bomb identical to the one he used in Japan. Except Alice put the bomb on his plane, which explodes in mid-air. As the plane goes down, we see that Luther has survived. Outside on Arcadia, Alice frees all the people that Umbrella captured. But their problems aren't over, as Umbrella ships swarm Arcadia as the movie ends. After the credits, we see Jill Valentine addressing Umbrella soldiers on a plane. Now, where do we begin with this? Like I said at the beginning of this video, this is a terrible movie, but it's also a terrible Resident Evil movie. It's a bad movie based on the piss-poor plot where barely anything happened, the complete lack of character development for anyone, and the hilariously bad dialogue. As you saw at the start, Chris Redfield walks into a room and says,
"I don't understand."
Out of curiosity, I read the entire screenplay for the movie, and that line is not even in there, which makes me believe that most of the shitty dialogue was probably just made up on the spot. Not that this is a good script to begin with, but the ad-libbing makes it a whole lot worse. Alice herself is a very dull protagonist, and the film takes away her powers from the third movie, possibly in an attempt to humanize her, except it doesn't work because she's still a complete badass whose only big injury in the movie comes when Bennett catches her off guard. I mean, seriously, there's an entire sequence where she flies off a building. She also takes on Wesker without any powers and manages to get the upper hand on him after Chris and Claire get toyed with. Speaking of, Wesker seems to know Chris and Claire in this movie, but is the connection ever explained? No. The movie seems to expect the audience to have played the games and falls into another vat of shit in doing so. While this movie does provide slight nods at other games in the franchise, it's clear that the primary influence for everything is Resident Evil 5. What I meant by this movie being a terrible Resident Evil adaptation is that it shows the audience things from the game, but never bothers to explain anything. Why are there zombies like this? Never explained. Who the fuck is this? Never explained. Why does Wesker have all these powers? Never Oh, wait. That is explained. Except it's the worst explanation ever, as, again, it expects the viewer to have played the games. This movie was directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, who has publicly stated that he loves the video games. And you know what? I actually believe him. The way that certain elements are brought to life shows a lot of attention to detail and overall passion for the project. The movie also looks phenomenal, and even the slow motion shots in which nothing happens look fantastic. I'd even go as far as to say that I absolutely love how the film looks in terms of cinematography and visual presentation. And while that's all well and good, I feel like Anderson gets too caught up in making things look great that he forgets to give us reasons to care about what's happening on the screen. In my opinion, Afterlife is the worst of the Resident Evil films and gets the final rating of Rest in Piss.